Welcome back, everybody. So here we are. How's it going? The last stream was kind of a train wreck, and I promised that I would have my issue figured out before this stream started, and I have. So I'm very excited about that. And I got a little bit ahead of myself. Once I figured out that issue, I just wanted to continue, but I had to, pump the brakes and save all the progress for the stream. So I guess I can show you guys what it took to figure out, what the heck wasn't working and where I am now. So basically my problem before was my action. I couldn't figure out how to properly reference the action variables and throw them at PowerShell. Because once PowerShell has the values, I can do all that magic, all this code. Great. Problem was the path provided in the action file just was not getting here. I couldn't get it to my PowerShell file. So I don't remember exactly what I did in the stream, but one thing I did change just in case is I renamed that, what was it? Start monitoring my top 8, whatever that function or file was called. I just renamed it to action.ps1 because essentially this action is just handing off to the actual action stuff, which is PowerShell. So I just renamed it action.ps1, which if you use my action, this won't matter. But for people watching, it's the same file. I just renamed it. So anyway, these work. I've parameterized each of the inputs from the action. So you can provide these and they have some defaults, like a default README path, a default commit message, blah, blah, blah. The one that matters is the users list. There is no default for this. It is required. When you make your workflow on your profile, you have to provide 8 names, comma separated. So that's really the only one that a user will provide, and all of this will just get provided by default. But I still have to throw all these defaults at the action. So each of these has a PowerShell parameter, but you're wondering, well, how am I getting those to the parameters? So it looks simple. It took some finagling, but basically inside of the realm of this action, you reference like this input. So, or users underscore list, this input, it's mandatory. So whatever someone provides for it inside of this same file, it's referenced like this, inputs dot, and then the name of the thing. So I'm still running, I guess I don't even need this anymore. I was testing with JavaScript. I was really desperate to figure this out. But basically, I'm still running my PowerShell file, and I'm just manually providing, oh, this is the value from the action, throw it at this parameter in PowerShell. Yeah, we're still running, PWSH, the new PowerShell 7. And so some YAML syntax I also had to look into was, you see these are nice and stacked, and this is very readable, right? I'm providing each one of these. In YAML, you can provide as far as run is concerned, this is all on one line. And that is denoted with this little caret here. Like shell, I give it PowerShell value, but without this one line was just dadgum long. So I found out I can provide all this like this. So this looks all nice and pretty, and I've confirmed that this works. If we look at some logs, I basically just took each one of these and just threw them down here so it would output them. Let me do this. Oops, I need to do Alt. My bad. If I hold Alt, I can duplicate my cursor like this. And I need to get rid of these commas. But basically, I just ran my action like this. testing different syntax. And basically, if my action or my workflow output in GitHub, threw up a bunch of garbage here, I knew finally I bridged that gap. The YAML file is passing those values to the PowerShell file. So a lot of trial and error. But now I think, well, let's look at one of those logs real quick. So, yep, my top 8. Let's just look at the 198. Let's just look at the output of maybe this one. Yeah, so this is doing it. This happens every time. This is what the action is telling me that the YAML file inputs are. And then this is PowerShell, where I basically, just show me this variable, which should be these. And so PowerShell is showing me an array. Here's the README path. Here's the commit message. And I had to fix this a little bit. It should be this whole thing. But I had to wrap that in quotes. Let me just confirm that I fixed that. Yeah, all these descriptions now have quotes on them. I don't think you need quotes technically in the YAML world. I think it's just everything on that line counts. But in PowerShell, it just, it did not start with a quote. It just went to a space and PowerShell quit and said, oh, that's the whole input. So I wrapped all these in quotes. And let's save that. So yeah, so PowerShell is showing me these variables. PowerShell did some stuff, but our PowerShell is not actually doing anything. Now that we can get this stuff into PowerShell, these values and everything, now we can test, or I guess we need to figure out what we want to do. Do we want to compare it every time or overwrite the file every time? We need to figure out what we're going to do next. Now that we have our data in an action, we can get it. Now we have to do stuff. So we're calculating stuff. We're figuring out what's the start of the section, what's the end of the section, generate HTML for the whole table of 8 people. We're calculating that stuff, but we're not actually doing anything with it. We're not writing it back to the README. We're not comparing files. We're not, pushing the commit back up or anything like that. So that's what we have to decide now. Now that all this stuff finally works, we need to finish this up. I'm not sure. So the output we're seeing here is a result of the compare object command here. We're not outputting anything else other than it displaying all those variables. None of this outputs anything. It just shows us compare object. And this is, I ran into this a while back, decided to skip it because we'll figure it out later. Compare object is showing me the 2 objects it's comparing. But all I care about is, do they match or not? And if they don't match, then obviously you change the names or something, and we need to overwrite this with this and commit it and push it back up and update your profile. Or any README. This doesn't have to be a profile, but the README for the repository. So that's what we need to work on now, is play with this and figure out the right syntax to basically get a true or false. Are they the same? Yes or no? So I think to do that, I'm going to have to give some defaults here. Actually, let me bring all those parameters back. There we go. Because I don't want to have to test this with the action all the time. This will be, just for testing, this will be, oops. readme.md. So I'm pointing this to here, this README. The users list equals, and I think I can just grab this because it's already got some commas. Whoops. Oh, one other thing I need to do is when I'm generating, I don't know if I need this logic yet, but I want to be able to have some way in your top 8 to say Tom, or some format of listing Tom that my script will know this is not a username. Someone actually wants to put Tom here, just to be funny. So, maybe the user, some username format that, like, I know for a fact is not going to be someone's GitHub username, special characters or some way that someone who knows what they're doing. And if I put a blog post on how to use this, have that little sort of Easter egg, people can use it somehow, and I won't accidentally conflict with an actual GitHub user that is named Tom or something like that. So we'll figure that out later once all this is done. That's sort of like a bow on top of all this. Commit message. Let's just keep grabbing all these defaults. So this will equal, there we go. Commit username. Oops, equals there in the email. Okay, let me save this. And so now when this script runs, it's got data, even though we're not running it from the YAML file, from the action, just testing locally. So yeah, I guess I'll just leave this here, comment it out when I don't need it. Okay, so now if I ran this, yeah, I'll get the same thing. Yep, so locally the compare object was different. So this is, well, which one comes first? It shows me the first one, the current section, difference object. Oh, it's actually kind of flipped. This is the content of what's currently in my test profile README, and I know that because it starts with Matthew, Edward, Packers King. But in my list up here, it's B. Reese, Intense One, all this. So for some reason, even though in the PowerShell script here, current section, which is this one, is listed first, but it's actually shown last to me. So pass through. Let's see what we get from, like, what are all the values available to me here? That's kind of strange. What if I get rid of pass through? Is it gonna give me actual? Yeah, okay. I want pass through here. I guess first I need to see what it looks like if they are the same. So this, I need to take this generated fluff, come to this README and make them the same. Save and see what this output is. We come to action, pass through. Let's just see what we get here. Select star. I'm not sure. So this is like each line, and these are supposed to be like arrows. So current section is listed first. You think of like a line going down the middle when it's doing its compare. I guess I need to flip this for the camera, but current section's on the left and what we generate's on the right. And so these arrows are supposed to point in the direction that the change exists. So what that means is this is pointing to the right. So it's saying that something on this line exists on the right-hand side, which in this case is generated. So something new in the, you change the order or something. That's different than what's over here in your reference object, current section. But right now they're the exact same, and it's still showing me these. I wonder. Let me look at something. Current section dot count. Okay, 13. Yeah, I want to maybe compare them as a single string. So remember, right now I'm comparing arrays. I'm comparing like 13 lines at a time. How did I do that before? Was it out string or something like that? Let me look at one of these. Nope. Oh, I'm not doing that. Yeah, okay, it was out string, but I'm not doing that anymore. But I want to do that here. I think I can evaluate inside of this. Yeah, let's try that. Sometimes PowerShell doesn't like when you try to evaluate things on the same line you're trying to evaluate a thing. So I might have to like throw this up on the line before, so that the only calculation happening on this line is compare object and not this like nested calculation. I've run into the errors with this before, but if it works in line like this, I always prefer that. But if this doesn't work, it's an easy change. So this should make it one line, right? But now what will it show me? You know what? Let's come back before I did this fluff. There we go. I may actually have to do I may have to actually do a loop here. And so for each line, because with my logic, it's one line for the comment. Is it just 8 lines? No, let me look at. One line for the comment, one line for the table. 8 lines in here, so that's 10. An 11th to close the table and a 12th. That's not right. There's 13 lines here. What is... Where is this? What is the extra line? It's wrapping some of these, which is kind of messing me up. Oh, I haven't calculated that yet. Let me come in here and just copy and paste all this. I'm gonna have to. No, I could just do this. And that'll give me current section to play with. Yeah. Okay, what is the 13th line? Maybe I should just look here. A line for this. A line here. That's 2. 8 of these, because there's 8 users. That's 10. 11, 12. I don't get why there's 13 lines. It's just a weird thing to get hung up on, but start of the table. User 1. User 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, okay, there must be an issue here. It really should be 12. I must have just pasted something wrong. Because okay, that should be there. Let me save that, rerun the action. Okay, since I figured that back out, I'm going to retry this. Dadgum. Pass through. And show me everything. Oops. What? Line 117. Oh, oops. But still doing this. I think that's probably because what I would have copied it from. Why are these different? That doesn't make sense. Okay, let me take this back off.
For one of your fries.
Just one, I promise.
So you say, sure, have a fry. But they take at least 7 fries.
Thank you.
Because it's never
Let me just save this.
Meal. There's a meal for every moment on the McDonald's $1, $2, $3 menu. Get all your favorite items like the McDouble, small fries, 4-piece chicken McNuggets, and McChicken for just a few bucks.
Okay. So I just copied that to my
Prices and participation may vary.
clipboard.
Any offer or combo meal.
All that output. So we'll figure out what is off about all this. Yeah, 12. Why is it showing 13? Is it just a blank line at the end or something? We're probably fine. Well, that still didn't work. Okay, let's try something else. I'm gonna make a loop here. They should always be the same. So I'm going to loop through current section. And so current section is an array of lines. So it's got each one of these lines. So we're going to loop through each one of these, and it's going to compare this line. And then it's going to, this line will be in the loop. So what I'd like to do is throw this compare inside of here. And so reference object is going to be $_, which is a PowerShell's syntax for the current item in the loop. So we split this up into 12 things and throw number 1 through, and that's this line. Actually, I need to do it a different way because I need to know what number of line I'm on. So I think I use this loop syntax up here. This is kind of like, not exactly PowerShell syntax. This is kind of how a lot of languages use for loops. It just so happens we can use it in PowerShell. So that's the syntax I'm going to do here. So I'm going to say for I equals 0, I less than current section dot count I plus plus, and throw this inside of here. Okay, so now I would just do current section at I. So this starts at 0. So the 0 item in current section, compare that to the 0 item in my generated section. So if it's in my brain, this should work because in a brand new, someone using this for the first time. So I have this test repository here. So someone using, here we go. Someone using this for the first time, the 0 item is going to be this, and that should match. But the 1 item, second item in the list, if it's brand new, this will be the, this text. And in someone that's using this will have the second line in the generated format is going to be the start of the table. So that won't match. So this will cover brand new people or people that have already been using this and they move the names around or something. When they get to, person number 3, it used to be B. Reese, but now it's Tom. Like that line will be different. So this will catch both of those scenarios, I guess, as long as this works. First off, I just need to see what this does. Let's go I less than 1. So we just run this one time. These should be the exact same. Yeah, but for some reason, these should show up. There should be like no issue here. But for some reason, compare object is, we're just not liking this. They're the exact same. Maybe they're not the same type or something. So I can force them to be strings like that. This doesn't make sense. Generated top 8 section. Okay, let me try something. I'm going to define this function down here so that I can run this line. And then I can play with, there, now I have my top 8. Oh, that's it. Okay. How did I not catch that? That's so interesting. Okay, sorry, my brain is trying to think. So what's going on is this function is outputting the generated blob of text as one string. It's not an array. There's one item in here. And when you have one item, the index are the individual characters. So what that looks like is generated top 8 section at index 0 is one character at a time. So there's like, I don't know, 400 items in this array of one string. But current section is in the format of it's got individual lines. So I really need to only do this out string here. Let me try this. I was doing this transformation to both of them when I didn't need to. It's already happening to the generated top 8. It's already calculated in a single string. It just happens to be a like paragraph format. Let's try this. Give me back my action. Way. I think there's an include equal here. Yes. Okay. So this is what I was talking about. The 0 item in both of these arrays now is the open caret. So it's literally comparing. Well, I limited it to the first character, but let me put this to like 10 or something. And now it's comparing, and I'm saying include equal. I should say, there's a way to include, there we go. That's it. Yeah. By default, if they're equal, it doesn't throw any output. But I'm saying include equal. And this is that symbol. Remember I said before they were arrows, and it sort of pointed to the right or the left, depending on which one was different. When they're both the same, it's this double equals. So I don't need that. I don't need this. Okay. Let me throw this back to. So this section, this is basically how you tell this loop how many times to run. And we want it to run for as many characters that are in current section. Let me, instead of duplicating this calculation, I'm gonna put this here, and I'm gonna say current section string equals this, so that I can just put this right now. Here I say, oops, count. Ooh, save. That's awesome. Select star. Oh, I don't need this. I want include equal. So we should get like a ton of, like each letter just stacked on top of each other. No, this should work. Oh, okay. Here we go. Another lesson. I get tripped up on this all the time. So current section string count. This refers to how many objects are in this array. One. It's one string that has a ton of lines. What I want to reference is length. How many characters make up this item? So I want this loop to run 2,600 times. So far it was just running once. I always miss this. There. Now when I run action, I should get just this tall. Yep. Tons of times. There we go. And we would actually see those characters if I do this. Now we'll see each one of these is coming back because I'm saying include equal. Without this, the only stuff that comes back will be what's different. So if I run this and I'm not getting any output, that means they're both exactly the same. We can test this by, I'm going to come in here and just add a F there. That's not even in the name or anything. It's just a change in the HTML. If I come and run action, I expect that. Let's see, where did this start?
There's no escape. You can't hide. They're following you. Your cravings for
Wow.
nacho fries will never stop. The warm
Okay.
nacho cheese sauce and savory Mexican spices will not let you.
The first character in this should be
Only one thing left to do. Run to Taco Bell because nacho
Where did I put
fries
that F
are
at?
back.
D-I-F.
And silence your cravings before nacho fries disappear again. Only at Taco Bell. At participating US locations for a limited
It's weird that it like swapped these, but you can see it basically starting here. SP PALY. It must have just thrown these out in a weird error. Colon, space, block. So starting here, the rest of the string is different. So I really just need to go, my loop just needs to go until I don't want that error to throw up at the end, but basically, I want it to compare until something comes back, because that means there's a difference. I don't need to compare from then on. If there's one single character difference, stop. We need to use the generated and it'll replace the original. Yeah. Sorry, this line's kind of long and ugly. If I put this away, we can see it. Again, in the chat, if this is like too big or too small or anything, just let me know. I can make the text larger. I don't really know what it looks like for you guys when you're watching, so please let me know how this looks. So if this comes back with anything, I want this, I want to make this equal. If this comes back with anything, that means is different. So if this qualifies with anything, which means there's a difference, it will run this next section of code. And I just want to return true. So is different, if they are different, will be true. Otherwise, it'll never run this. This will just run quietly and return nothing. If they're the same, is different will actually be false. We get no output. So this is actually what I want to try here. I want this to be true, and I want this to, what is it, break? I want it to stop the loop. Just quit. As soon as we hit true, just stop. So return true and break. I think that's, what the heck is this? spit out is the value of is different. Is different is true. Let me put this back to take out this F. Now they're the exact same. So this should give me nothing. That's awesome. That's exactly what I want. Oops. This gives me nothing. So now I can say, if this is true, then we need to overwrite readme file and commit push to repo. Okay, I think I wrote code for that here, but I'm really curious. So when this, let's take a step back before I continue. I want to bring up something in this workflow that I have. When I use the checkout action, it has like, it runs first. It's got like a pre-workflow, check out the repo, this actions. But then it does stuff at the end. It has like, when the workflow is all over, finish these, tasks that are defined in this checkout action. And I wonder if that action is already monitoring for changes to the repo and if it will just auto commit and push up. I don't know. So I'm going to test. I'm just going to overwrite the file and see what happens. Well, that won't work. Let me write some code that's going to actually overwrite the file. We're not going to do that part yet. Let me highlight this differently. Oop, no, it won't. I'll leave it like this. Okay. So if is different, I want to take the generated top 8 section. Oh, I'm already doing that. I need to recreate the whole README. So throw in the pre-section content. This guy. And then the stuff at the end. And then I want to write the entire assembled profile to the README file. Assembled profile, and we can just do that by out file, README path, force. So that'll do it. If they're different, it'll do this. So I want to just make sure if I run this, right host, just to give some output that it got to that section. So it did not get there. Let's go back and put a difference. Let's just put this as somebody else, something that, an actual difference. So if this works, it should put that back to Edward. It should show that message that it's overwriting, generate this new profile here, and then put all of this back. All this code should be here, and this should have been corrected back to what the script is calculating. So I think if I save, did I save that? Save. Overriding profile README, and he's back to Edward. That's exactly what I want, and everything else stayed magical and correct. Sweet. Now to test this, I need to publish this in the action and do it against this test README, basically. Yeah, let's do that real quick. Debug. What is happening? View my files. I do not know what this is. Okay, I guess I need to add that to my git ignore. Debug.log. So that tells Git to not worry about a file called debug log. So before it was saying, yep, there's a debug log file. I need to track it. Well, I don't want to commit that up. Just ignore it. So it's no longer here. But it does notice I'm going to commit a change to my git ignore file. So that's perfectly fine. Add everything. Let me do a first. Oh, okay. I made an alias in my profile, but I must not have. Hang on. Yeah, okay. Now I want to. Whoops. I need to go back to. I'll explain this in a sec. Projects, GitHub, my top 8. Now I can run this. Yep. So GACP, I added it to my PowerShell profile, which I store in GitHub. It's in my .files repository. And it's basically, this is just an alias for git add commit push. And it only accepts a message because I always, git add dot, git commit -m message, wait for that, git push. I always type those 3 commands all the time. I just want to YOLO push this with a commit message. So this is just a shorthanded way to do that. So anyway, saves me some time when it works. So now that I've pushed that code up, again, I need to come out here and make a new release of this. What tag am I even on? I've got so many of these. What, 3.0 or something like that? Oh, sweet. Yeah, I'm on 3.0. So I'm going to make a 3.0 alpha release. Same as before. The last stream, the whole stream was just me testing and recommitting this stuff. When I'm ready to actually do a release, I'll actually have a description and put, everything out here. But for now, I need to come in here, update this to 3.0. And if this works, I'll have it on my profile, on this repository's profile. Oh, crap. I still have these. Ah, crap. This won't work. I gotta... Dang it. I need to get rid of that test code. I think I caught that. I would have been very confused. Now I need another release before I even test that one. Sorry, folks. Version 3.1. Alpha. Hoping to get this working before we end here in about 10 minutes. That would be cool. I was just trying not to show it. I was really frustrated that last stream because I couldn't figure out the syntax and everything, but it's working now, so we're all good. Let me run this. It'll be, number 200. Sweet. Let's hope this works. Now this is probably incomplete. I'm testing to see if I make a local change, if the checkout action is gonna auto detect and commit for me. Positional parameter cannot accept. Jeez. This all works. I literally tested all this. This should all just work as is. What's the error? 3.1 alpha PowerShell file cannot accept a positional parameter my top 8. What?
There's no escape.
Do not know what this
Can't
means.
hide. They're following you.
But see, here's what I mean. It runs the action and then it runs some post stuff. So no changes were made locally because this didn't even run, but I'm wondering if this actually makes a change, if this post action will push that up for me, or if I need to write the logic for that. But looks like we can't even test that because this doesn't even work. This is kind of strange. Does it have something to do with... I wish this was longer. Where's the full log? Perfect. Great. It still cuts it off. Well, what did I break? Composite, action PS1, all of this. Okay, this is referencing README path. Users list is correctly being used here. I'm not even referencing these. README path users list. These are all named correctly. Okay. What the heck happened? I know I tried this last time, but just give me whatever extra. This is I'm back in the same spot. Shouldn't have told you guys how frustrated I was last time. Sweet, that's very convenient. Okay, we've got a 3.2. Is this still running? No, it's not. Should have 2 of these up. Here's my test. Oh, okay, let's commit this. Let's try it here. See, all of these work. Let's look at this log. All of these work on the 2.9 code, and I didn't change nothing. And it ran all this fluff, but all of a sudden it just wants to not work. I didn't change anything about the parameters or... You guys see anything that I'm missing? This is the exact same. I played with some quotes. Only thing I did was take that out. Oh, I guess I'll just put this back. It worked before I touched it this stream. So this is going back to the way it was. Save that. And I'm going to get rid of this. I don't need it. This all worked. 3.3. Let's hope this one's it. Also, I don't know if I'm doing this right. I got 33 tags here. I hope I'm not just making a mess for myself, but gotta get this out here. 3.3. Edit this. I mean, does this need to be lowercase? Users list. I mean, it is lowercase there, so I'll leave it lowercase here too. 3.3, we're good. There we go. All right. Let's run a new one. We're so close to having this working. Like a finished action. I will throw stuff out. Yeah. Let's see what breaks this time. That doesn't make sense to me. Let's throw that over. Dadgummit. I'm coming to 2.9. What? I don't care about this stuff. I want to see the YAML file. I'm not comparing the right thing. I want to see this repository at this point in time. So here's the YAML file. You guys see a daggum difference? I do not. It's all the exact same. What about this one file? Like all my parameters should be the same. Well, maybe it's this. That would be strange that would be it. Okay, let's try this one more time. What are we on? 3, 4? 3, 3. Yeah, okay. So I'll make a new one. 3, 4. Target main. Okay. 3.4 alpha. So the thing I just removed, that commandlet binding at the top, it turns that file's definition into an advanced function, which gives it all kinds of extra features. There's been one case, one example that I have in my experience where I do not include that. And it was because I created a filter instead of a function in PowerShell. And I'm not going to get into that, but there's only been one time where I actually needed to not put it. So if this is another one of those times that's very strange to me, I'd love to look into that and figure that out. Okay, 3.4. If we run this, let's see. Did I not show you guys? This worked before this stream. This was literally scheduled before I started, and it worked. And I didn't change the YAML file. And now we're just magically getting errors. Green. Was it really commandlet binding? That is so weird to me. Okay. It overwrote the local README in the context of the action. But if we come here, I bet it's not here. Okay. Let's do that quick. I know I'm over time, but I like to keep these to an hour, but we're so close. So I created this template function earlier. Git add, git commit, git push. I think it already, well, let's just leave all this and just run it. So we write it to the file, and now I'm going to say, what did I call it? Commit git repo. I need to make a hash table of these. It's just so far away. What's up here? So again, this is called splatting. And so this, well, let me fix this before I explain anything. So I think I explained this before, but for anyone new, this is called splatting. Why do I always do that? I capitalize 2 letters. Let's line these up. There we go. So this is a way, I don't need commas here. So without doing this, I would need to, on this function, there's a parameter called commit message, commit username, and committer email. You see these are parameters here. Normally when you call a function, you have to list them right here. So I'd have to do commit message. You know, the same way you do normal, you call normal functions. And this committer username. And it's just a way to clean this up. Instead of having this be really long like this, you make a hash table out of all these parameter name and its value. Parameter name and its value. That's what I'm doing here. This is the name of the parameter and its value. And then I can splat these. So it's the same way you reference a variable. You just use the @ instead of the $. Commit. So it's going to take all these values, parameter name and its value, and just throw them here. And that way, you know, if there's like 12 values you're giving to a function, you can see all 12 right nice and neat there. And your command is not actually, you know, a mile long. So this is just a technique to use that just helps your code look nice. Functionally, it's the exact same, but you know, a human has to look at this and read it. So it's a nice little trick to keep your code nice and clean. Okay, here it is. Commit git repo. I guess all this output will show up in the thing. So I need another version real quick. So this will be 3.5. We're real close. I keep saying that, but I mean it this time. Okay, version 3.5 alpha pre-release. And we'll update. Oops, I got out of it. So if this works, I'll have that my top 8 right underneath the sunglasses and everything, because that's where the commented out code is. 3.5. Gosh, I can't believe that commandlet binding is what broke this. I really want to look into that, because that doesn't really make sense to me. Okay, let's run this. All right, here we go. If this works, this will have just, you know, that top 8 section right there. I just have to refresh the page, which is, you know, the whole point. One file changed. It's writing the commit stuff. Really? Look at that. That is so cool. I just need to like take a breath. This is my first action. Man, it's been a lot of work to get here. So now to change this, all I would have to do is come into the workflow and just switch up the names. So let's put you first, and I'll just get rid of myself at the end. There'll be a duplicate there. Whatever, just switch up. Whoops, not save. Swapping. Now I can actually have real messages because my changes actually mean something. So what I did there was I got rid of this person at the end and I duplicated Tyler to the front. So everyone's going to shift over and Tyler will be a duplicate here. But right now, the way the action's defined, it will automatically run every hour. But I'm going to kick it off myself. So eventually this change I've just made, eventually it would have just shown up. But I don't want to wait that long. And you know what? I don't even think I need to specify a name and an email, because I think by default, it's going to come back and say, you know, a GitHub Action bot push to commit. So I may play around with some of this stuff, but at least this is going to be working. And we can play around with specifics. Okay, so let's see this order change. Just from the one file. And it correctly replaced it. It correctly kept everything else. Text at the end. This is so cool. First action done. I just need to do some housekeeping stuff. And I can publish, you know, a 1.0 production version. This is what I mean. You can change, let me come to the history. You can change the identity of the person committing. And so I've custom defined, yep, my top 8 posh bot or post bot made this commit. Authored and committed. But I think by default, it's like, let's go here. Does this have a history? Oh, it shows I do it because I manually set it to my information. But before all this, I think it was like a GitHub bot or something had posted that, but that's okay. Not a big deal. Okay, let's come back here. How cool. Look at that. What I'd like to mess with now, so just brainstorming things to change. One thing is maybe to give this a percentage, like size. By default, it's at 100%. You know, this is the biggest that this table will go. But what if this is kind of too big and you just want the table to shrink? You could put in like, oh, I want it to show up, 77% of the total size. And it would just, I'll have to add some logic to include that percentage in my, sizes in here. So I think by default, like I'm manually saying it's 145 and 145. And the table, just wraps around that. But what I could do is set that as a variable, 145. And then apply the percentage to that number and then put that transformed percentage here. By default, it's going to be 100%. 100% of 145 is 145. But if they put 50%, that's going to be 72.5. And how do I rectify, not whole numbers and things? But that would be nice to be able to, in your action declaration, say size 70% or 70 or some way to specify that. Here's what I mean. It would just be another line item. So this would be size percentage, and then you'd put like 70, and then that would shrink it by 30% technically. So just features. If anyone has ideas like that, this My Top 8 is a public repository. You can come out here if you have an account, come into issues and make an issue and say, the feature request, add, variable size, or add themes, or add some text here, make this change. Please come out here and make issues, and we can work on those during the next streams and things. So if you have any ideas like that, please just come out here and make an issue. That'd be really cool. Anyway, I'm going to cut this off here. We went over time, but dadgum, this is working. It's so cool. Let's come back here. Look at that. Okay, thank you so much. This is fun. We're going to keep going on the next one. I know I've been keeping to my Thursday schedule, but if I find time, I think I'm going to start sprinkling in some impromptu sessions. And if you guys have any ideas on future projects to do, we can work on those. Again, the goal of me streaming is, one, for me to put myself out there and learn new things about not saying all the time and stuff like that, but to help the community learn. For anyone that wants to learn PowerShell, please ask questions while I'm streaming and stuff. I have modules that are out on the PowerShell gallery. Let's just look at one of those real quick, like admin toolkit, for example, or help desk. Let's look at help desk if it's here. So you can go and type install module help desk and you'll get my module. And this is really targeted towards the person in a typical help desk, IT support role. And there's work I can do here. I've got a lot of functions out here. We can tweak this one or that, adding local admin stuff, looking up AD user account information. I have lots of PowerShell projects I can work on for the stream is what I'm trying to say. But I wanted to start with this My Top 8, what we've been working on, because it was the only idea that I had where I started from scratch, start from nothing and build some PowerShell stuff. So if you guys want more projects like that, where you could sort of like follow along because I'm doing it from scratch, I can come up with some ideas for things like that. Or if you don't care and you just want to see more PowerShell stuff, I've got lots of PowerShell stuff to work on. So if you have any ideas, let me know. You can send me a message. I think my Twitch has all of my socials. Like I'm on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Send me a message, send me an email, whatever. And I will take that feedback. So let me know what you guys want to see. That'd be great. Follow me because that's cool. I want to be famous. That'd be sweet. Okay, I'm going to end this here. This went over time. But yeah, this is working. So for the next stream, unless issues come in, like feature requests that we can work on, I will work on just sort of fine tuning and getting the code cleaned up and looking professional with comments and everything. And then we can publish, the production 1.0 version of this My Top 8 action. Hopefully this looks MySpace enough. Oh, and we have to make Tom. We have to create some sort of stamp way that the action knows to put all the Tom information in there. The MySpace Tom. So that's what I plan to work on next time, unless some feature issues come in, feature requests, things like that. If you guys want to come out here, not to this one, it's to My Top 8. My Top 8. Come out here, make an issue, and we'll look at those on the next stream. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'm gonna sign off. Have a good rest of the week, and have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks so much.